Can you guys hear me? Keisha, hey, my mods. Can you let them know to go ahead and do that now, please? Can you guys hear me? Hey guys. Hey Nancy, Callie, babe. We're just waiting on Bill right now. I have a great bank story today. Hey Shia, Linda, ChatGPT. Sorry guys, I wasn't feeling well, so I took a nap and I overslept. I apologize. It's my fault. Jacqueline, hi. Shalita, what's up? My new moderators. Keisha, did you let him know? Thank you. Okay, can you just tell him to click the link? Guys, I'm so sorry. I feel so bad. Can you guys see me better now? Callie, no, there has not. But I'll get to the news. I just want to. Hey, Pete, the light is on. Missouri girl, who'd you guys get already? Hi, Robin, Joy. Yes, we do have the coolest mods in town. Thank you. All right, Keith, can you see what's going on? Okay, guys, while we're doing that, I'm gonna go over what I have to go over for Caleb and Brown. Stephanie might jump in. She wasn't feeling well, but if she felt better, she's gonna come on. And the man himself might be in chat, so pay attention for that. Majid, he's the man. People want to talk. Oh, he was wrong. He was wrong. He was wrong. Yeah, no, he actually wasn't. But we'll get to that. Can you guys see me now? Okay. Hi, Lynn. What is this thing? Okay, so Caleb and Brown is a crypto investors. Crypto and Brown is a crypto investor's personalized service for crypto trading, where you could contact your broker at any time, getting the latest insights on crypto trends and news you need. Um, they have seamless facilities that sell the withdrawal of your crypto into fiat into your nominated bank account with zero withdrawal fees or limits. They have over 350 assets to choose from. Um, so they have optimal rates for your crypto trades. They have experienced traders leveraging multiple liquidity pools with best market rates. They have institutional grade custodial cold storage solution to protect your crypto assets plus a firewall. You can contact your broker. You get your own personal broker. You can contact them as often as you like at no charge. They help buy, sell, swap, and safely store cryptocurrencies with a 24/7 personal broker service. The clients for Caleb and Brown range from beginners needing assistance to who buy their first cryptocurrency to seasoned investors needing a professional service to validate their investment thesis and make value complex trades. Um, Everybody loves Caleb and Brown because they can reach their personal broker on the phone and email at any time. And that there's no fees on the trades, and that the crypto is protected via firewall. Um, they were founded in 2016, now have 43,000 clients, more than 100 countries. They just opened up an office in Fort Lauderdale. They have personalized service, education, and consumer protection at the heart of everything that they do. If you guys want to sign up for Caleb and Brown, you can use my link in the description to sign up. It's free. Okay, now I'm ready. Okay, is he coming on, or what's going on? I heard about Richard Fraser. Why did he say something bad or something? Be yourself. Why are you saying no RV beginning September? How do you know? I'm going to talk about the impeachment stuff, Jay. I have the bank story I have is from Wells Fargo, and it's from from a person I really find reliable and credible. Hi, Owen. Did Frank already have his YouTube, or is he still about to have one? Linda, how do you spell Caleb and Brown? Caleb is C-A. Hey guys, 1 second. I have to grab another phone. Jesus. Can you guys hear me now? Should I start another stream? Okay, 1 second, guys. 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Can you guys see me? Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to get him on the phone. Hold on. Okay, guys. Now, how is it? I'm so sorry. But do you guys all know who Bill Johnson is? Do you guys know Bill Johnson? Oh, Lynn, they just don't understand. You know what I mean? They just come at me and but when it comes to other people saying whatever they're saying, they're okay with that. Okay, so let me tell you guys a little bit about Bill Johnson. He's been in the trust industry for many years. He has the LLC, his own LLC. His job is not to sell you on the trust, but to actually teach you about trust so you would know how to protect yourself and your investment. So, as I said, I'm going to be bringing on people that are going to be helping you post the reinstatement. So, you know what I mean? Like to help you, experts to help you diversify, post the instatement so you know how to make money off your money. So, when it comes to trust and when it comes to, you know, crypto and gold and silver and real estate and things like that. It is going to be info, Alan, so you can go away. I'm waiting for my guest. See, this is what I'm talking about. Oh, Deborah, did you? Eli, didn't he also report that the BIS changes the rates on Thursdays? I've known it to be Wednesdays, but maybe they changed. Keisha, were you able to? Is he calling or what? Gerald John, why are you always so negative in my comments? Chase does know about the reinstatement, okay? They do know the reinstate about the reinstatement. So I don't know what Chase you're going to, but they do. And so does Wells Fargo. Is he calling? Like people always find a way to just come at me. Go come at these idiots that are on here scamming people. I don't charge you for nothing. If you don't want to listen to, like I said earlier, what I gotta say, then you don't have to be here. I don't beg people for likes and I don't beg people for subscriptions. If you don't like what I gotta say, bye. Have a nice day. Go get scammed. I don't care. But don't come in here with negativity and accusations. Keisha, is he gonna call? Okay, hold on. Okay, give me a second. Bill? Hi, how are you? I'm so sorry. Can you guys hear Bill? Hold on, I'm trying to see.
went into the 267-882, that's 7818 link.
Yeah, I have you on the phone. Okay, they can hear you. Okay, so I already introduced you. So, okay, guys, I'm going to give Bill the opportunity to give his presentation and to talk to you guys now, okay? They're excited to listen to you. And it's very nice to meet you. Thank you for coming on. So you could start talking to them. They're listening. There's about 700 people on live.
Okay, the question is, can you hear me?
They can hear you, yeah.
They can hear me. Okay. All right. I appreciate it. Use this. Come on, come on. Come on. Okay. All right, guys, I appreciate it. My name is I'm gonna have to turn this other one off. Turn the volume off. Okay, can you hear me now? Hello?
Yes, they could hear you. Yep.
Okay. All right. Wow. It ought to be worth $1 million just to get on. It's hard.
Yeah, well, they're blocking everything. They're blocking everything. So yeah.
Here's what I'm going to plan. What the plan is tonight. We've already used almost an hour, but I'm going to give you just a general overview of how and why this works for you, the trust that we have, and then I'm going to open it up for Q&A, and I'll stay as long as y'all want to ask questions. And thirdly, well, I don't know what the third thing was. I had it and I lost it. But anyway, the first thing, let's talk about the name of the trust. Is the name of the company is the Protection Group LLC. THE Protection Group LLC. The trust name, the name of our trust is Irrevocable Complex Segregated Asset Trust. There's three things I want to point out to you that are very important to understand this trust. First of all, the word irrevocable, if it were in a trust that I had, that I put my money in, I would put my money in if it's an irrevocable trust. Because once you put assets in, put money, you can't take it out. You can't move it. You can't change it at all. So the founders of our company 30-some years ago had to have an irrevocable trust in order to do what we needed to get done. But within the contents of the trust, there's an addendum that allows you an amendable area that allows you to be able to change anything in the trust that you have in it, as long as you and your spouse are alive. In other words, it's been amended to where it's no longer an irrevocable trust for you. It is an irrevocable trust when you and your spouse pass away. And you have then successor beneficiaries who are going to take over the trust. They're going to get money out of it based on what rules and regulations you set up, because folks, you're going to set up parameters for your successors to receive money after you're gone. If you left it up to them and it was irrevocable and your kids got a hold of it and you were gone, and the irrevocable part's not part of it, it's just a regular old trust, they can take all the money out the very first day and go spend it, give it away, do whatever they want to do, and have saved nothing for your grandchildren. So that's not this trust is not set up that way. This trust is set up to be a generational trust. It renews itself every 14 years automatically with no charge to you. Okay? Every 14 years. So 100 years from now, this trust will still be in effect. If you set up parameters for your successor beneficiaries to receive money, for example, let's say you got $10 million and it's going to be your golden egg, and you don't spend that $10 million, you invest it, and your investment makes you $1 million a year at 10%. You're happy with that? That's great. That's a lot of money. You pass away, you can set it up to where your kids can get $1 million a year and never touch a golden egg. But that's up to you how you want to set it up. And it'll also be the rules and regulations that come into play when your grandchildren have it and your great grandchildren. If the golden egg is never spent, then you can always make money with what you have, and it'll go on forever. That's the beauty of it. There's no inheritance taxes on this trust. When you pass away, we're going to fix it to where you own nothing but control everything. Well, if you own nothing and then you pass away, what's 50% inheritance taxes? If you own nothing, it's zero. So you don't have inheritance taxes. The trust never dies. It stays there forever. The name of the trust again is Irrevocable Complex Segregated Asset Trust. That's irrevocable. Explains that pretty well. I think that you can change anything you want into it as many times as you want. As a matter of fact, you're the original settlers of the trust. You and your spouse are the original people that put the money into the trust. You can shut it down if you want. Your kids can't, but you can. Once you go, when you set up their parameters, they'll enjoy the money. Can you imagine getting $100,000 every year from a trust that your parents set up for you that goes forever and ever and ever? That's what you can set up on $10 million or whatever you have. The segregation part is the reason that this trust it protects your assets. Because instead of getting one trust from us, you actually get 10 trusts. Each trust is a legal entity in its own right. When you put your cash into a trust, you use one of your trusts, and nothing else goes in that trust except the cash. You use another trust to put your real estate in. Maybe it's going to be the home you live in. The trust is going to own it, but it's going to be owned by the trust, but you live there. And you're putting nothing else in there, but you're going to use your second one of your 10 trusts for that property, whether it be a condo or a farm or a ranch or whatever it is. It's whatever that one deed that you're dealing with, the one deed, and that deed would take your second trust. Folks, if you buy another house somewhere on the beach or up in the mountains, you don't put it in that same trust. You could. It's legal to do that, but you shouldn't do that, because if anything ever happened, you expose what's in that trust. That trust is a legal entity in its own right, and it only has one house in it. Let's do it with automobiles. Let's say you got 3 automobiles. You got 10 trusts. You've used 2 already. You got 2 automobiles, two automobiles, one for you, one for your spouse, and one for your truck. So you'd have 3 automobiles. Those 3 automobiles each use a trust. Each one has its own trust. You might call it, Genesis 10 auto trust number 1, and Genesis 10 auto trust number 2, and Genesis 10 auto trust number 3. That's 3 separate names. They're individual. So if your truck is involved in an accident somewhere, then your trust, the vehicle could be taken from you if you're involved, and they could get the insurance money and they could get the truck. Can they get your money? No. Your money is in your Genesis 10 asset management trust. That's where your cash is located. There's no way possible to have a lawsuit against your trust that has the cash in it, and you don't put anything in that trust except cash. So it's because of segregation of assets that you are able to have protection of all your assets. You might have 15 or 20 assets that have automobiles and gold and the ownership of an LLC, and insurance things, and rental properties, and duplexes, and 26 plexes, and whatever you want to have. That's as you use those 10 trusts, then you can get more trusts from the protection group for $100 a piece. That's all they cost. The original trust package is $2,900. That gives you lifetime with membership with the trust. It gives you the 10 trusts and all the things that you need to get started. But after you use those trusts, then you'll see that you'll be able to add more trusts along the way and have as many trusts as you want. Your asset management trust is your main trust. That's going to be the granddaddy of them all, because that's where all your money goes. When you get your trust back from after you paid for it, and you get it back, you'll get an attachment that says how to apply for and obtain an EIN number, and you can do that in 10 minutes. Everybody on this call probably knows how to get an EIN number. That's not anything special. But here's the problem. And the problem is the government. And the government is messed up the application for your EIN number. You got to remember the trust, the corporation, partnership, they're all in the same family. So you have to have everything done correctly by the book to make it have the protection that you need it to have. So if that money is in the trust, and you get your one EIN number, you go to the bank and you open up a bank account. You put the $10 million. So you went to the bank and you got $10 million on the currency exchange. You got $10 million. Now you got it in a regular checking account. Well, guess what? If it's in a regular checking account, you own it. It can be taken from you. Just remember, if you own it, it can be taken from you. So what you want to be doing, the first goal that you have is to get that $10 million moved from your personal checking account into a trust account. You control the trust. It's no different. It's just another form of having your money where you can get to it anytime you want it, anytime you need it. But nobody else can. That's the beauty of it. It protects you. So if you've got cash in your asset management trust, that $10 million, and you want to put something else in there, like a house or something like that, you would not want to do that. We can't stop you from doing that, but you don't want to ever put anything else into that cash trust, because as long as your trust has that cash, it can't be taken from you. No way. It can be there's no way to have a lawsuit against your trust. All it is digits on a screen. You might have 10 million, you might have 100 million, you might have a 2 billion. It's still just digits on a screen. There's nothing for it to do to cause a problem to allow a lawsuit to be filed even against you. Much less you lose. You would lose that trust because you're not going to. You don't have the opportunity to lose it. The one thing you want to be able to do in here is you want to be able to say, I own nothing, but I control everything. So when you put that money into a trust account, you and your spouse, and then you put your house that you're having the trust by, you put it in the trust. You got 2 automobiles and a truck that you got your trust owns. You got a bunch of gold, 1,000 gold ounces of gold that you bought that's owned by the trust. You've got an LLC. The ownership of the LLC is a trust. That's where you want to put it. Rental properties that you have can go into each separate trust. For example, if you found 4 houses on one block that you want to buy all 4 of them, that's great, but you'd use 4 trusts to do it. It costs you $100 extra. Remember to have it once you run out of the 10 trusts. It only costs you $100, but you've got total protection of that asset. If you have all 4 real estate pieces of houses in a trust, in one trust, and one of the trusts causes a problem and causes a big lawsuit comes in, you've exposed all 4 of your houses to be taken from you. When just for $100 a piece, you could have got a trust for each one of those folks, each one of those houses. It would be what you would accomplish doing. So the trust that we have that we're setting up are setting up where they are an irrevocable trust. But if you want to change it, you can, because the amendments in there, remember, they allow you to do that. Let's see. Trying to think. Well, that's the 4 things that I really wanted to talk about, was the irrevocable, what that means, the segregation of assets, what that means, the cash that you're going to put in your trust account, how that works, and what it does for you. So there are a lot of things in here. You have to have 2 trustees to make this trust work. you have an application that you're at, your name your trustees on that application that you'll have to fill out if you decide you want to trust from the protection group. What I want to do is explain to you how the trust works, to answer any questions that you have, and then you have enough information to your family can make a decision whether it's something you want to pursue or not. And you don't pursue it to me. You pursue it with the company. It's part of a package that allows you to have an application and an order form, and that's scanned and emailed to the protection group when you're ready to purchase. And when you get that in, and when they approve it, send it back to you, they'll send you back that with wiring instructions to wire the $2,900. And so it doesn't come to me. I still have people call me, Bill, I will send you the check next week. Don't. You can't. I'm not going to give you an address. I don't get the money. I don't want the money. I want to be able to protect you and just to teach you how to operate this trust. And it is extremely easy to operate once you have it, and it actually is very common sense. The trust is set up so well. The founders of the trust years ago made it to where you don't need an attorney, you don't need trustees. In a typical trust, you hire a trustee company. They're going to be the ones that spend your money and make money for you, and they get all the commissions. And you don't want that. You want to be in control. You are in control. You don't want to be. You are in control 100% of this operation. You're the one that makes the decisions on buying gold and how much. You're the one that makes the decision on what house you want to buy. You're the one that makes the decision on what cars you want the trust to buy for you. And so it's all set up to where you control it, and that's the beauty of the whole thing. And your two trustees could be your mother and father, your niece and a nephew, or it could be your next door neighbors. It could be friends at church. It could be somebody that's retired, and they got husband and wife retired, and they're not making as much money as they used to make on their retirement because it's been taken away from them with inflation and stuff. And so maybe you could pay them a couple $100 a month, or $200 a month, or $500 a month. It depends on how many millions you have, or how many hundreds of thousands you have, is what you can afford to pay. But we always, there's no rule, there's no law that says you have to pay anybody anything. You can get a trustee that will do it. Maybe it's your brother. Maybe you will just be a trustee for you. Or here's another suggestion. You have people like on this call. There's a lot of people that everybody has currency. If you know each other, two people that that are already on here, they could be your two trustees. You could be a trustee for them. There'd be no reason for you to pay them, and there'd be no reason for them to pay you. I'm just talking about if you can't use some friends of yours that are currency holders, then you can always get two trustees. A trustee works for you. They serve at your pleasure. They don't control anything. If you have a trustee that you can't get a hold of, that they don't answer the call, they're rude to you, or what, you just pick up the phone and say, "Hey, Bob, I appreciate you being a trustee for us all this time, but we're not going to be using the trust decided that we're not going to go that route anymore. We're going to use another way, and we don't need you as a trustee anymore. But thanks a lot, talk, Bob. We'll see you later." Oh, you just fired Bob. That's all you got to do. Now, while I'm talking about this, I want to mention one other thing. When you go to the bank and you don't have a trust set up, which you don't have to have a trust to your exchange, I'm not saying that, but you haven't talked to Bill Johnson, you haven't talked to anybody. There's a lot of trusts out there, and I'm not going to talk about the other trusts because that they all are different. But this one works, and this one is legal, and this one is the one that will do exactly what you want it to do. But when you set the trust up, and you got your two trustees and you got your protector, then they're the ones that are going to keep you at arm's length from having a problem. You're going to end up being able to say, "I own nothing, but I control everything." Your money's going to be kept in the trust. You get it anytime you want it. The lady asked me today, "So if you're saying if I get $25,000, I'll just do a letter of wishes and they'll give it to me. What if I want $5 million?" Well, if you have $5 million in there, they give it to you. They don't have a choice. They serve at your pleasure. And so all we're using them for really is to sign the checks and be there as a buffer between you and all that money and all any things that come up that could be considered construed as lawsuits or something like that. You wouldn't be involved in it because you have nothing to do with it. All you are the beneficiary. You and your spouse are the only people in the world that can benefit from the assets of this trust. Nobody else can benefit from it. Nobody. Somebody said, "Well, can I get the trust to write a check to St. Jude's for me for $1,000?" And the answer is no. You cannot. St. Jude's is not going to be benefiting from that $1,000. Not your two trustees, not your two protectors. I mean, your beneficiaries. They have to be the ones that are benefiting. So how does a person give $1,000 to St. Jude's? You tell the trustees that in the letter of wish I need a check for, if that's all you want, $1,000 or $10,000, $25,000. Then you get that money, you put it into your trust, and where do you get it from the trust? Where do you have your money right now? Watrell Credit Union, another bank, First National Bank. Well, if you get a check from your trustee for $25,000 or $250,000 or whatever it is, you just put it into your checking account down at the bank, and you write the check. You check $1,000 goes to St. Jude's. One of the things that's important in here to understand and to really, really focus on is staying anonymous. You want to be anonymous with this. When you get this trust, if you get this trust, you get it set up, whether it's mine or somebody else's. Do not tell anybody you've got a trust, because that's all that says is, hey, I've got a lot of money. I've got a trust. You realize that probably within a 50-mile radius of your home, there are hundreds of people that operate churches and Red Crosses and all the things that need benefit, they need donations to live on. They're gonna wear you out. They're gonna call you dead. Call you and come by your house. If you have a trust, you got money. They want some of it. Don't tell them. Don't even tell your kids. Don't tell anybody. It's none of their business. But that's up to you. But we want you to be anonymous, and that's what we try to do. When you set up your main checking account with the bank, when you get to apply for the EIN number, you have to apply for the EIN number with a name. What is your name going to be? Well, it's going to be something Asset Management Trust. Maybe it could be Over the Hill Gang Asset Management Trust. Maybe it could be I like Golf and Tennis Asset Management Trust. Maybe it could be ABC 4236 Asset Management Trust. But what it won't be, if your name's Robert Thompson, what you would never, ever make your trust say, the name of it would be Robert Thompson Asset Management Trust. But if that's your name, it sounds so good. It's so neat. Robert Thompson Asset Management Trust. And all of a sudden, a year from now, 2 years from now, your trustees have been writing checks out of the trust for insurance. If your house has to put another roof on it, there's a check written to the housing people that put in the new roof. You buy another car, it's going to be a check written for that. That benefits you. The house benefits you. And so that it's not going to be long before everybody knows that Robert Thompson has a trust. And don't do that. You don't want to do that. You want your trust to be as anonymous as possible, and let it protect you. And folks, when you put that $10 million, if you just got $10 million, you put $10 million into a trust. Can you move that money and segregate it? Which that's your biggest asset. We're talking about segregation of assets. Can you put that in 2 different banks or 10 different banks? And the answer is yes. You just have to get a document from the protection group, which is free to you. It's a 4-page document that says you do have a trust, that you are a trust. If you're moving it, if you're going to put it in Wells Fargo, that's great. You need to have a loss. You have a bank statement for that. You put it in Fifth Third or First National Bank or for Watrell Credit Union, you have to have the document from us that says that you have a trust. In addition to that, you've got the document from the Internal Revenue Service that says you've applied for and obtained an EIN number. That EIN number is the only EIN number you'll ever need. You might have 100 trusts with cars and real estate and gold and whatever. You only need one LLC to operate the whole shooting match, and that one checking account with the bank, but which could be broken into 10 checking accounts. That's up to you to keep up with all those checking accounts. But there's a lot to this, and yet it's once you go over it a few times, you understand that it's not. One of the things I want you to understand is how to fill out the application. If you decide you want to purchase the trust, how do you fill out the application, and where do you find it? The application is on our website. Remember, the name of the company is The Protection Group LLC.com. That's our website. At the top of that first page is the word that says downloads. If you'll move your mouse up and click on downloads, it takes you to the second page. And on the second page, over to the left-hand side, there's 6 numbered items. Number 5 is the application. So if you move your mouse over and just highlight number 5 and click on it, you can print it, and it'll be right there. You have the application right there. The application has to be filled out correctly, or it cannot be processed. If you fill out the application because you didn't listen to what I taught you and what's going to be the education call that I'm going to give you after a while, the last 5 minutes of that education call teaches you how to fill out that application. And the application, you think, well, anybody can fill out an application, and I agree with you. Anybody can. But this has got to be done exactly by the law. And if you don't know exactly what the law is and what's going to happen, then you could be wrong with it. I'll tell you about it. I'll tell you real quick. One of the main things that there is in there. If you send us an application and you put your name down as Robert Thompson, and that's you're the beneficiary, and so on through. You fill out the whole trust. You got Robert Thompson in it, and you got Rolita Thompson as the husband, the wife. You send it into the protection group. They're gonna return it to you because it's not correct. You need a full name, Robert A. Thompson or Robert Allen Thompson. Or if Robert Thompson doesn't have a middle name, then you have to put on the application next to Robert Thompson's name, but Robert has no middle name. We're not going to make up a middle name just to appease the law, but this is like a corporation. You're establishing a trust in the same family as establishing a corporation. So it's important to do it correctly. The second part of this education that you need has been prepared for you. And before we will get into question Q&A here in just a second, but I want you to understand that the education call is about an hour long. It's got all the information that you ever need on it. It's got the application, how to fill it out, the whole steps that it goes through to make that happen. But one thing you'll get involved with when you do this, it's going to be a 605 number. If you dial a 605 number and you're on there, they're going to charge you for that. Even though your phone, it doesn't make any sense to me because your phone is unlimited, right? Unlimited texting, unlimited talk, and so on. But if you dial the 605 number, they're going to charge you a penny a minute. Well, I apologize for that. It's going to cost you 65 cents. And, if you ever get the hit up, which is important to you, call me and I'll send it back to you. But that is what they, for some reason, well, I know why they did it, because the 605 number, if you want to set up a place where you're spending hours on a phone, whether it's in some kind of calls or like we're doing tonight or whatever, it costs a lot of money for them to do that, and that's why they just charge a penny a minute to get that done. But I'm not getting that penny a minute. My company's not getting that penny a minute. The T-Mobile is who I have mine with, and they certainly charge me a penny a minute. So that's part of it too. I hope you have a pencil and paper real quick, because I want to give you that phone number. And on that education call, you've got the name of our company, the email address of our company, the information about the application, and I got that on my mind before it slipped my mind. On the application, if you get to the point that you're interested in it, you want to look at the application, and you go to print it out. It's on the website. It's not there, and you can't make it print, or you can prick it. You can pull it up, and it won't print, or you can't pull it up, or whatever it is. That's Plan A. Plan B, if it doesn't work, if Plan B doesn't work, all you have to do is send an email to the Protection Group LLC at gmail.com. And again, that's on that application information. 605-313-5155 is the education call number. 605-313-5155. The PIN number to get on that call is 155-703 pound. Okay, 605-313-5155. 155-703 pound. My name again is Bill Johnson, not Dale, not D-A-L-E, not Dale. It's Billy Johnson. My number is 865-300-1953. What I'd like to do, I'd like to
Can we jump into a Q&A? I just didn't want to interrupt you. That's why I was waiting. People are asking a lot of questions, but I didn't want to interrupt you, so that's why I was waiting till you were finished your presentation. Hello? Hello? Bill? Yeah,
can you hear me?
Yeah, I said I wanted to wait to ask questions till you finished. That's why there's a lot of questions in chat I wanted to ask. And hi, Stephanie Starr. Thank you for being on. Okay, so whenever you're ready, if you don't mind, I can read off the questions to you that they had.
Go ahead. Let's do one at a time.
Okay, let's see. Hold on, I have to go back and find. Let's see. There's a lot of questions. Thank you so much for the information. I have some questions as well, but I want to address their questions first. Okay, hold on. I missed like a lot of questions because you were talking. So okay. Do you have a website? Well, you just gave them the website. If you could repeat the website.
The name of the company is VTHE Protection Group LLC.com is the website. TheProtectionGroupLLC.com. That's the website.
Okay. Let's see. Okay.
The first word is VTHE. Protection Group LLC.com.
All right, let's see. I'm going back. So this is irrevocable trust, right?
That's the name of it, but it's not irrevocable to you, the original settlers. Remember, I talked about that at the very beginning.
Yeah.
There are amendments in the trust that allow you to change anything you want to do as many times as you want. As a matter of fact, you can shut the trust down if you want to. Once you pass away, it becomes irrevocable. It's always going to be an irrevocable trust, but it's an irrevocable trust with amendments to the original settlers of the trust.
Okay. Oh, look, my bestie had a question. So let me ask her question. This is Nancy's question. The question is, I was told to put a house in an LLC and then put in a trust. As many LLCs. Oh my God, I just lost it. Jesus Christ. Okay, and how many LLCs does I want? Is that a good way of doing it?
No. There's no reason to do it. An LLC is something you got to spend $300 to $500, $800 every year renewing your LLC, and you have no reason unless you have a business. If you have a business right now that is an LLC and it's making a profit, then you keep on doing that because you've got your checking account, your EIN number, and you're making a lot of money. But remember, you as the owner of that LLC don't want to be making money. You want the money to go into the trust. So you will do a document where you give the ownership of the LLC to one of your trusts that you name. And when there's a check written for profits, those profits would go into the trust. It goes into the trust main asset management trust account. That doesn't mean you can't get it. You can get it the very next day. You get it. You do anything you want. It's yours to do with what you want. But you want to stay. You want to stay anonymous, and you want to stay where you own nothing but control everything. And that's the way. That's the way to do it. You do not need an LLC to buy a house. If you have a house that you want to purchase and put in the trust, you just name the house. You just put under the contract the name of the house. It's Genesis 10 Real Estate Trust. There it is. That's the name. What the post office box is your address, and that's the name of it. So, you don't need an LLC to do that.
Okay. Question from Stephanie Starr. Hi, Steph. Okay. So she's saying open different trusts for different assets. Have a cash, currency trust, vehicle trust, house trust. Is that correct? So you would have a trust for everything, like a separate trust for everything?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see.
You're doing that to protect the items. You're having the travelers put in their own separate legal entity. They're legal in their own state. So if you have an accident, let's say you have an automobile and you have a wreck with somebody, it's your fault. They come into court and the judge comes back with a $2 million judgment against you, and you've got an automobile and you've got liability insurance. Well, they'll get maybe $400,000 or $500,000 out of the deal, but they can't get any more. The $2 million goes away. They can't come after you because your judgment, you don't own anything. And all of the other trusts have their own standalone ability. They're not involved in the automobile accident. Therefore, they're not part of the accident. That's why you do segregation of assets.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Camry user. They want to know about an anonymous trust. For example, the Wyoming Trust or something.
This is a Wyoming Trust.
Okay.
The reason it's a Wyoming Trust is because the laws in Wyoming are consumer friendly to trust holders and trust companies. When you come in, if you ever have to go to court there, hopefully you'll never have to. But that's why that's there. It's kind of like all your credit cards come out of Delaware. Have you ever noticed that? Every credit card from everybody comes out of Delaware. They're consumer friendly to credit card companies.
Okay. BX Year 19 says, if you gift currency to people, what is the best trust for that?
Giving currency, you give the currency without involving the trust. You're telling me right now?
No, like, so once the reinstatement happens, say you're gifting currency to somebody, say like your family member or whatever, you're giving them like a gift currency, like what would be the best trust for them to put that currency in that you just gifted to them?
I don't know that I would put that currency into a trust. If you're going to do that, just cash the trust out and give them money. Isn't that what you're trying to do? Is give them money? You don't need to set up a whole trust for that.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense, right?
And remember, you don't. We're all going to find, and I say all, probably 99% of us have never had lots of money like we're fixing to have. And so when you start giving away money to your niece and your nephew and your brother and your son and your daughter, you best be checking with your CPA to find out exactly how to do that and what the right way to do it is. I'm not a CPA, but I can tell you before I would do it, I'd be contacting my CPA and say, how do we do this? I want to give my brother $1 million. How do I do it?
Yeah, that would be like a smart thing to do. Hold on. Let's see. Hold on. I have to plug my phone in because it's dying. Okay, let's see. Let me put you here. Hold on. Okay. So can you put JDK is asking, can you put crypto in a trust, Bill?
Yes.
Yes, you
Crypto is an asset.
Yes, you can put crypto in a trust.
You want to have your own crypto. You want to have your own cryptocurrency account. But if you had a lot of money in crypto, you had millions of dollars, maybe I might want to put each of the crypto names in a different trust. So if something ever happened, they couldn't get everything in mind, so it's in that one trust. Again, you got segregation of assets can protect you.
Gigi's asking, what is a dynasty trust and how does it work?
I don't have any idea. Don't have a dynasty trust.
What?
I can give you my information. You can call the man that had the dynasty trust and ask him what he's doing. So I don't know.
Okay. So hold on one second. Today's Bless said, does Bill do this in person by phone video call? Yes, he gave the information. They do it. What day of the week do you guys do the information call again, Bill?
Well, the information call is available 24/7.
It's 24/7, and he gave the number. We're gonna give it at the end. After the Q. Go ahead.
You wanted to give it again? It should be that you don't want it to. The number to get on there, it's available 24 hours a day. 605 313 5155. It's going to ask you for an access code. That code is 155 703 pound sign.
Okay.
155 703 pound sign.
Did you guys get that?
You were talking about Frank 26 a little while ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's got a website up there. Look up the trust on the website. I've done hundreds of trusts for Frank 26 members.
Did you guys hear that?
All my information that you have is on his website.
Did you guys hear that? You could go on Frank's page and it's on there. All of Bill's information. Hold on. Kelly has a question. When is the best time to open a trust, before or after the RV?
Before, if you have the money. But if you don't have the money, like the majority of the people that I've been talking to for 8 years are waiting for the RV to get the $2,900 to buy the trust. That's what the trust costs. That's all. It's a one-time payment. That's all there is. All there is to it. Just $2,900 one-time payment. But in order to get it, you have to have $2,900 pre-RV, which happens to be right now. You can get a trust with a credit card or 2 credit cards. I had one couple gave me 6 credit cards for the $2,900. But after the RV happens, it's all going to be done through wire transfers and no more currency, no more credit cards.
Okay. Gigi has
the best time to do it in the beginning is if you have it. Is because it's so that you get the quicker you get that $10 million, is you just got your currency exchange for, get it out of your hands and into the trust. The more you're going to sleep at night, knowing nobody can take it from you. So it's being protected. But if you cannot pay for the trust up front, like right now, then if it were me? Here's what I would do. And I know the game. I know exactly what to do. I would have my application all filled out, done correctly. I would listen to Bill Johnson because he teaches you how to do that. I would have done it correctly. I would have had my order form sitting right there in front of me, and I would because the minute I get a call, let's say today is what, Wednesday. Let's say tomorrow afternoon, we're really doing this, and right tomorrow afternoon I get a call, and the call is that I get a go to the bank on Saturday. Well, crap. I go into the bank on Saturday. I'm sending in my paperwork. Bill says you can't send it in until you're ready to purchase. But by the time he gets it and gets that education, to get that information back to me on how to pay for it, I'll have money because I'll be over there on Saturday and get my money. And maybe I don't turn in maybe I don't exchange all my currency at that first meeting. I probably should, but maybe I don't. But I'll at least get enough to get the $2,900 to pay for my trust. Because I did it that way, because I'm the one that knew how to do it, and I got it done 2 days later, I'll have my trust. If you wait and you do like most people, most men especially are procrastinators. Good Lord have mercy. We all will sit there and say, well, oh man, meant to do. Gosh, I meant to get those trustees. I didn't do it. And next thing you know, is 2 weeks later, you're just getting it done. You send in your paperwork, and your 2,000 on your 2,000 people ahead of you.
Hold on.
But all you had to do was do it like I said. Get it all once you have your appointment with the bank. You know what's going on. Well, however that is, when you know you're going to have money, then send in your paperwork. It costs nothing to send it in.
Jacqueline Marucci. Hi, Jacqueline has a question. She says, will some of the banks have attorneys on hand to do a trust?
No.
No. Let's see. Frank 26 website. Burn D, do I have to have an LLC to do the trust?
You do not need an LLC. You don't, unless you have a business you're operating for sale with LLCs. You have no reason to have an LLC unless you have a business.
Okay. Marge and Carl, can you put your 457B holdings into a trust?
If they'll allow you to, you can ask the people that produce it. You know, your name's the one that's on it right now, and you will have to give those deeds or that money that comes in. Change who it goes to. That's a good question, but I don't have the answer to that one. You have to ask them.
Today's blessed. Is there an annual tax filing we have to submit?
Yes, has to be one. You know, at least one document filed at the end of each year on January 31st. I mean December 31st. By December 31st. Even if you conducted no business and had no business at all, you just have your CPA turned in a report, a trust app order, a trust. What am I trying to say? The money that you're going to pay the Internal Revenue Service, you're not paying them anything, but you send in a paper that says you had no business, and that's all you got to do.
Hold on. Gigi again.
If you're making money, if you got $10 million there, and you're making money, your CPA will probably have you having a trust a check go into the Internal Revenue Service every quarter. If you're making a lot of money. But if you're not making a lot of money, you're going to at least have to have power, just like an individual. Let me tell you something. Explain that to you. The Internal Revenue Service considers you and this trust to be one entity, not two. There's you as an individual, and you and your husband are an entity. So you have to file a tax return. You now have a trust, and your trust is an entity. It has to file a tax return. But because of what our trust is a pass-through trust, you only need one tax return filed, and that's up to you and your CPA. So which one gives you the better deal? So, but you do send that in at least once a year.
Bern is asking, how much is that annual filing?
I have no idea. That's up to you and your CPA. It doesn't cost anything except what you're going to pay your CPA to prepare it for you. It depends on how much business you're doing. If you have lots of rental houses and all kinds of depreciation and profits, then you're going to pay a CPA their fair share to fix that for you. Pay the least taxes you can get away with.
Okay, let's see. I'm looking to see any more questions. I have a question. So, I have several LLCs due to I have several different things that I do. Now, once this reinstatement happens, right? How do I connect my LLCs? Like, what do I do? Do I just open up trusts because I have stuff in the LLC? So how would that work for me?
Well, you're going to name a trust. You might name your trust. Let's just say you name it the LLC trust. I would call it that, but that's just for the sake of argument. But you have an LLC, and it's in your name. You're the owner. You just have an attorney do a document where you no longer own it. You're giving for $10 and other valuable considerations. You're giving away the LLC to the LLC trust. Who owns LLC trust? You do. So all you're doing is giving it from yourself to yourself.
I got you. Hold on. Tina Renee. Question: do you have to have your home, car, etc. paid off and no loan against it to put it in a trust?
99% of the time, yes, because here's the problem that you have. If you, let's say you have a car or a house or something, you've got a mortgage against it, or you got a payment against it with the banks on your automobile. Once you give it to the trust, you are no longer the owner of that. The trust is now the owner, and so the bank and they're probably not going to allow that to happen. It lets you go. You say, okay, you don't have to pay me anymore. We'll let the trust pay you. What if the trust is brand new? They're not going to do that. Typically, you have to own everything that goes into the trust. Your house, your real estate, your rental properties, everything has to be owned outright. That's why I said earlier, you don't ever want anybody to know that you have a trust, because if they're smart and know anything at all about business, they'll know that everything you own that is now been paid off. Therefore, you're rich. So I'm gonna ask you for some money. I'd like to get at least $500 a month for my church. Can I do that?
Right on. Hold on, Camry. Thank you, Chief Mac. I appreciate that so much, sir. Thank you. Hold on. Ron Tracy, trust package includes 10 trusts. Additional individual trust is 100 each. Payment enclosed total 2,900. Okay. Hold on. Let's see.
Let me tell you, first of all, you're going to learn. You're going to learn, and you can't get this trust without listening to the education call. Because you don't have the information. You need to have all that information in that education call. But once you do that, if you have questions, my name is Bill Johnson, and my phone number is 865-300. 1953. It's on Frank's website also. I'm available 8 to 1 and 8 at night, 6 days a week, 7 days a week. I mean, if you just call me. Pick up the phone, call me. Don't leave me messages. If I don't answer, it shows up red, and I'll call you right back. But you call my cell phone, and that's my cell phone. It's not a business phone. It's my cell phone. But I'm on it all day long.
Well, Bill, I appreciate your time. Are you gonna watch the live, because I'm gonna give some information about what's going on with the investments right now, and also I have a great bank story that I'm gonna make a call. So, are you gonna stick around and listen to the bank story?
Yeah, I'd love to hear the bank story.
Okay, she's awesome, and it's a bank story out of New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I actually wanna put her on. I gotta make that call. And I appreciate you so much, and I look forward to talking to you. Thank you so much for coming on. We so much appreciate it. And we'll have you on again after the RV, after the reinstatement, which in my opinion is very soon now.
All you have to do is ask me, and I'll be there for you, okay? And I don't mind any time. I've done it for Frank. I've done it for Blano. I'll be glad to do it anytime you want to do it. Anytime.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
You're getting ready to tune into Frank's call right now?
No, no, no. I'm getting ready to call my one of my people that have a bank story, and then I'm going to give information about the Iraqi dinar.
Okay, I want to listen to that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm like Frank's little protege. I'm much younger than Frank, and but I adore Frank. Frank was actually the reason why I got into the dinar, Bill.
Everybody's younger than me. It's Frank.
You guys are still young at heart.
I've enjoyed talking with you. Hope people learn some stuff from this. But I promise you'll get more out of the education call than what I just gave you tonight, because it is really, really good. The good thing about the education call is you can pause it, or you can back it up for a minute. You can read it. You can just move it around a little bit. It's done with pre-conference call HD. It is free to do for you guys to listen, but they've done a great job as far as recording it and doing what we need to get done. Anyway, go for it. Go for it. I'm listening.
All right, thanks, buddy. Thank you so much. It was nice talking to you.
Thank you.
All righty, all righty. Bye bye. Bye bye. All right, hold on. Let me hang up this phone. Okay. Do you guys? Oh my God, Chief Mac, thank you so much. Okay, guys, do you guys want to hear the bank story first, or do you want an update first? Wow, Chief Mac, thank you so much. What do you guys want to do? All right, let me see. Okay, let's do the bank story, okay? I'm going to be calling you right now, okay, my friend? Give me 1 second. Hold on 1 second, guys. Hold on 1 second, guys. Hold on. Can you guys hear me again?
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Great. How are you? Great show. Great info.
Thank you so much. We're actually live. Can you guys hear her on the phone? We're going to call her Sam, okay? You guys can hear Sam? Hold on, I'm trying to see. Okay, they can hear you. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing your experience with us. So if you could just say what state and what bank, and just let them know what happened and like how everything went down, if you don't mind.
Sure. Thank you, Maria. I'm in New Jersey, the Jersey Shore. And after listening to your information, I decided to open up an account at a Wells Fargo. So I did this about the beginning of June, and it seemed to be a whole totally different experience. I'm not used to seeing banks all of a sudden now advertising wealth management, especially when usually when you walk in the door, it's usually the hours and the word open, and now there's bank management, health, wealth management. And, over the past 5 years, we've been through so much uncertainty and people losing jobs. And it's like, wealth management, well, this already is happening. So I went in, and lovely person. And I had taken my money out of another bank because they were not a tier one bank. And so for the deposit, and she started to ask me a lot of questions and asked me if I had investments, which I thought was a little bit different. So I was very careful to what I disclosed. And I said, well, yeah, little this, maybe a little that. And I asked her, I said, do you deal with currencies? And she said, oh, yeah, we deal with that. And a manager all of a sudden came over to me with a big smile on her face. And she said, well, we have some exciting news happening. By the end of June, we're going all digital. And I went, oh, I said, that's good news. So after we had the discussion and I opened up my account, I said very little about my currency because I just didn't want to give all my information at that point. So I have a friend who also is interested with the RV. And I said, you need to meet this woman. It was a very pleasant experience, and you've got to get an account at Wells Fargo because they're prepared. So we went over, and she opened up the account, and then I felt the courage to say, so, there's an RV occurring with the foreign currencies. And the woman looked at me and she nodded her head yes about 3 times. And I went, oh, okay. And I said, and I think I understand that there's like a 90-day period to cash those in. And before I even finished saying that, she nodded her head up and down, yes, about 3 times. And I went, okay, that's really all I need to know. So this is happening. They have to be careful, and I get it because there's so much going on. They have to be careful of people who are going to be nefarious, and they're weeding out a lot of things. The banks seem to have more rules. There is one bank that I deal with that they are now called universal bankers. They're not tellers anymore. So there's a lot of changes, and it's for the good. So it is going to be pretty exciting, and I think Bill's information was perfect. We're going to have to do that. And I noticed a lot of people were saying, oh, well, the IRS doesn't exist. Well, we know the information that's going on, but we have to wait until we get the go ahead from the big guy. And so we need to protect ourselves when we do this. But it was a really pleasant experience. I felt the professionalism was so different than what I was used to in a bank. So they're ready.
Yeah, and this is coming from Wells Fargo. I mean, Wells Fargo was so against, like they kept saying, "Oh, it's a scam, it's this, it's that, and this." And I mostly deal with JP Morgan. I don't deal with Wells Fargo as much as I would with JP Morgan. But for them to say, and it is going to be 90 days for you to turn in your currency. And just so you guys understand that, if you're using the satellite bank, Sam, right? I'm sorry, I just wanted to bring this information because somebody asked a question. So there's the tier 1 banks, and if you don't mind telling them, tier 1 banks is the redeeming banks. So you're not going to go to like a redemption center, and Sam, we could talk about that in a second. But what I wanted to say is, so you'll have 90 days to exchange, but like the satellite banks that Frank 26 talks about, when you turn in your 3 zeros there, that goes to the CBI directly. When you turn in your currency at the tier 1 banks, like Sam is talking about, that money is going to the US Treasury. And the US Treasury, that's where like you guys hear about the oil credits, that's where that comes from. So sorry to interrupt you, Sam. You can keep talking. I just wanted to bring that to let them know about that.
No, that's fine. I don't know if I have any more to add
Uh
to
huh.
that, but I had a question because there's been so much talk about redemption centers. Are they legit? Are they going to do the same thing? Um, I don't know anything about that, and I'm sure you probably know something about that.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. Like, so it's a redeeming bank. Okay. So, for example, for the Iraqi dinar, for the Vietnamese dong, for the Indonesian rupiah, for the Iranian real, when it comes off sanctions, you'll be able to go to a tier 1 bank. Tier 1 banks are, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, Bank of America, Truist, PNC. Some citizens banks, even though it's not a tier 1, it's a tier 2, are going to be doing currency exchanges. I actually have an appointment tomorrow at Citizens, matter of fact, to talk about exchanging currency. You want to I'm going to use, in my opinion, and I'm not giving financial advice, you want to use different banks. You know what I mean? But to redeem, for example, the Venezuelan Bolivar or the Zimbabwe, you would go to a Wells Fargo, and they're going to have what is called a redeeming portion in their bank. So it's a redeeming bank. It's not a redemption center. So like some of the people talk about redemption centers, like, oh, at a military base, they're going to set up a tent and you're going to come in there and you're going to give them your currency and then you're never going to see your currency again. No, there's redeeming banks. And as far as like yellow dragon bonds, German railroad bonds, I found out you would be calling the Treasury for that, the United States Treasury, and the United States Treasury would be telling you where to go. But most likely it's going to be Wells Fargo.
Okay, great, great.
So,
I've had a lot of people been talking about that. What is this? But that clears it up.
yep. So do you feel in your gut that this is happening?
Yeah, I do. On a lot of different levels, I do. I like to look at things on the periphery. If you look at it directly on, you're going to miss pieces. I always look for the signs. The fact that I noticed the names of the tellers change, the fact that they're putting wealth management all over the place, the fact that they've gone digital, now that they're starting to nod their heads, it's close. It's close.
It's very close. And I'm going to tell you guys, like while I have you on the phone, I might as well give you an update. Then this is the information that I got. So we all know about what's going on with Prime Minister Sudani. In my opinion, and you guys can agree, disagree. I don't care. I believe he's been holding this whole thing up this whole time, because everything is done, everything is ready. The CBI is ready to go. They launched everything, and he's the one that's not letting go of this. So, in my opinion, it's Mr. T is going to be the one that's going to be pulling flipping the switch now. And so we're waiting for that Article 12-2C, which contains the new exchange rate. So let me just hold on. And thank you, school bus driver. I appreciate that so much. Hold on. So Oliver and Wyman was sent back 2 days ago to Baghdad to assist with the release of this the exchange rate. That's what I'm being told. Also, tomorrow is Muhammad's birthday, which was considered a holiday, but they're keeping all their banks open, and the Kurds are announcing tomorrow that they're releasing all of the salaries for all the months for all their employees. So what does that tell you guys? A lot of things are happening behind the scenes. Trump did not let anybody down. He did not lie. And, I'm still sticking to my guns. And I said the first week of September. So that's what I'm going with. And that's it.
Yeah, you can't give up the strategy to the next chess move.
Yep. And Sudani's not waiting till right after the election. Sudani's about to be gone. And President Rashid of Iraq wants the exchange rate changed. Guys, you got to understand that there's a ton of disinformation right now. There's a lot of disinformation, which is creating smoke. They don't want you to know when they're going to release this. And even in my opinion, it was always told that it was going to go overnight. I'm thinking that it could go during the day as well, because they don't want people to know. They're just going to post it and that's it. And with them meeting all the requirements for the WTO, answering 175 questions, they're Article 8 compliant, in my strong opinion. Um, Also, I posted some stuff yesterday. They don't have restrictions on their currency anymore. I don't know if you guys knew that, but they don't have any restrictions. Hold on. Sam, I'm still keeping you on the phone here. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so an article came out today. Hold on. And Vietnam did not disburse all of the $100,000 payments, just so you all know. All right, let's see. Hold on. Okay, that's that. I really wasn't feeling good today. I just fell asleep, man, and I overslept. Okay, so I got this information. Second. I'm like trying to do 100 things at once here. Hold on. 1 second. Yeah, Bill was great.
Yes, that was extremely helpful.
So hold on. Okay. Kurdistan region has also facilitated the removal of barriers to oil exports. According to the statement, um, the recent discussions between the Kurdistan regional government and the federal government was presented on the issue of classification and determinant of the federal treasury share of non-oil revenues and the issue of oil exports. The Kamal Mohammed, Minister of Natural Resources, Ahmad Sabah, head of the Bureau, and Amani Rahim, Secretary of Council of Ministers, presented the results of their talks with the federal government on both oil and non-oil revenues. After the discussion, the Council of Ministers congratulated the negotiating committee for faithfully fulfilling their duty to protect the right of salaried employees and the financial entitlements of the region. While the Council of Ministers instructed the negotiating delegation to continue their efforts, the Ministry of Oil and National Resources, the Northern Oil Company SOMO, have signed a joint protocol to resume oil exports. They're also resuming oil exports as of tomorrow. So all of that is requires an exchange rate. So it's either they're gonna put it out before or right after. But it's, in my opinion, a lot of things have happened, and it's done, guys. It's done. I mean, Sam, do you agree with me? And the banks all know about it. They all know about it, and they're ready.
Yeah, they're being careful. I found a friend of mine went to a bank this afternoon, and one person knew something and the other one didn't.
Uh-huh.
So it depends on who they're telling and when.
Yep, and it's all, it's insider trading. That's why you always have to say in your opinion, and it's you got to protect yourself. Just like when I'm bringing on the wealth manager with the financial advisor, he actually did the Kuwait reinstatement, so he's going to be able to answer a lot of your questions. No, the CBI R39, the CBI is in charge. They're in charge of releasing the rate, but it has to be like the prime minister and the president and Mr. T. It's all a combined effort. So um okay. All right, Miss Sam. Well, thank you for coming on, dear. And I'll be in touch.
Okay, great. Yeah, we have to talk.
Okay. I will be in touch. Thank you so much.
Thank you, dear. Have a great evening.
You too. Bye-bye. Thanks. Um Guys, this thing is done. And a lot of people are like disappointed. Oh, it didn't happen. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. This and that. Believe me, a lot of things did happen. So just be ready. And I'm gonna be on tomorrow. Thank you. And hold on 1 second. Let's see. Chief Mac, could you please email me? I would like to bring you on the show so you can talk to us about your bank experiences. It's dinarinfo2024@gmail.com. If you could actually email me now and we could set up a call, I could come back on and we could do a call if you're interested in doing that, Chief Mac. Because I'm sure they would like to hear. All right, guys. Let me see if he emails me, and then I'll come back on with his bank story. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you to my mods. Thank you to Chief Mack and to School Bus Driver. Thank you, and thank you to Sam, and thank you to Bill Johnson. Let me see if Chief Mack will email me. All right. I'll see you guys in a little bit.